Greetings, boys and girls. It is now time for Reader's Workshop. We're having fun learning reading today. Reading today is fun. We learn from our success. We learn from everyone. We're having fun learning reading today. Reading today is fun. We learn from our success. We learn from everyone. We're learning to think. Think today. Thinking today is fun. Thinking helps solve problems. Solving problems helps everyone. We're learning to think. Think today. Thinking today is fun. Thinking helps us solve problems. Solving problems helps everyone. Can you read our learning target with me? I can compare and contrast nonfiction texts. Remember, boys and girls, fictional texts are texts made up by an author that are not true. Nonfiction texts teach, inform, and explain real things. Also, remember the words compare and contrast. When you compare and contrast in reading, you are looking for things that are the same and different. Remember, compare means the same, and contrast means different. Can you compare and contrast these pictures? Pause the video and think of how the pictures are alike and different. Welcome back. Let's compare these pictures. There's a doctor in each picture. The doctor is a woman in each picture. There is a patient in each picture. And there is a stethoscope in each picture. And the doctors both have on white coats. Now let's contrast these pictures. One picture is of a doctor for humans or a pediatrician. The other is a veterinarian, an animal doctor. One doctor has a pink shirt under her white coat, and the other doctor has a blue shirt under her white coat. One patient is a little girl, and in the other picture, the patient is a cat. Great job, boys and girls. I'm sure you can find even more things to compare and contrast in these pictures. Let's look at our passage for today. Today, we're reading about outer space. I'm going to read the first article to you and help you find the key details or the most important points in that passage. Then you're going to read the second passage on your own and find and write the key details on your Venn diagram. So boys and girls, go ahead and get your piece of paper and pencil out now and draw your Venn diagram on your paper. Remember, that's two circles that overlap. Here we go. What's out there? It's a big world out there. Our solar system has 8 planets. Pluto is not a planet anymore. It is called a dwarf planet. Each planet orbits around the massive sun. There are more than just planets in the solar system. There are asteroids, meteors, and moons too. An asteroid is a rock that can be many different sizes. Most asteroids in the solar system can be found in the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt is found between Mars and Jupiter. Meteoroids are little bits of rock that have broken off the asteroids. When meteoroids get too close to the Earth, they turn into meteors. A meteor looks like a beautiful streak of light across the sky. Many people mistake these as shooting stars. When you think of the moon, you probably think of the one that orbits the Earth. But many other planets have their own moons too, even multiple ones. Mercury and Venus are the only two planets that do not have moons. It's hard to believe how much more is out in space besides our planet. But there sure is a whole lot. Let's look at some of the key details that we read in the article, What's Out There? We've learned that Pluto is not a planet anymore, and it is called a dwarf planet. We learned that an asteroid is a rock that can be many different sizes. We also learned that the asteroid belt is found between Mars and Jupiter. We learned that meteoroids are little bits of rock that have broken off of an asteroid. We also learned that a meteor looks like a beautiful streak of light across the sky, and people think it's a shooting star when they see it. We also learned that many other planets have their own moons, not just Earth. Some even have many moons. But Mercury and Venus are the only two planets that do not have moons. Now it's time for you to pause the video, boys and girls, and read the passage, Our Solar System, on your own. And write down the key details that you learned on your Venn diagram. Then unpause the video and let's see which key details we have that match. Have fun reading. Now let's read the passage together, boys and girls, and highlight some of the key details together. Our solar system. Earth is just one small part of a gigantic solar system. There are 8 planets. All of these planets orbit around the sun. These planets include Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Pluto is called a dwarf planet and is not one of the planets in our solar system anymore. Mercury and Venus are the closest planets to the sun. They do not have any moons orbiting them. Earth is the planet you live on. Mars is after Earth. Mars is known as the red planet. If you stood on Mars, all you would see is red dirt and rocks around you. The space between Mars and Jupiter contains the asteroid belt. Jupiter is the largest planet and has rings just like Saturn. Saturn is the lightest planet in our solar system. Uranus and Neptune are the last in line. Uranus is the only planet in our solar system that spins on its side. Neptune is a windy planet. It has a large dark spot that scientists believe is one large windstorm. Our solar system is a fascinating place. Boys and girls, we've learned that there are 8 planets. And if I can remember, the other passage had, our solar system has 8 planets. Sometimes you might remember a detail that matches in both passages that you missed the first time. It's okay to go back and highlight it when you remember it. We also learned that Pluto is called a dwarf planet, and it's not one of the planets in our solar system anymore. We learned that Mercury and Venus do not have any moons orbiting them, and they are the closest planets to the sun. We learned that Mars, is known as the red planet. And the space between Mars and Jupiter contains the asteroid belt. We learned that Jupiter is the largest planet and has rings just like Saturn. We learned that Saturn is the lightest planet in our solar system, and Uranus and Neptune are the last in line. Uranus is the only planet in our solar system that spins on its side, and Neptune is a windy planet. Great job, boys and girls. Have you been writing down the information on your Venn diagram? Boys and girls, your Venn diagram should look a lot like this. Remember, in the article, What's Out There, we highlighted 8 planets are in our solar system. Pluto is not a planet. An asteroid is a rock. An asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter. Meteoroids are rocks broken off from asteroids. Mercury and Venus do not have moons. In the second article, the one you read on your own, our solar system, you should have 8 planets are in the solar system. Pluto is not a planet. Mars is known as the red planet. Jupiter is the largest planet. The asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter. Uranus spins on its side. Neptune is a windy planet. Mercury and Venus do not have moons. Can you help me identify what both articles have in common? Yes, they both talk about there are 8 planets in our solar system. They both talk about Mercury and Venus not having their own moons. They both talk about Pluto not being a planet. And they both talk about the asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter. Boys and girls, pause the video and write down what both passages have in common in the middle of your Venn diagram. Then unpause the video so that we can see what's next. Boys and girls, your Venn diagram should look like this in the middle. Both passages talk about 8 planets being in our solar system. Pluto is not a planet. The asteroid belt is between Mars and Jupiter. And Mercury and Venus do not have moons. Now, boys and girls, get ready to pause the video and write your paragraph about how the passages are alike and how they're different using the information on your Venn diagram. Then, unpause the video and let's see what you have. Welcome back, boys and girls. Here is my paragraph using the Venn diagram. Remember, the green sentences or sentence talks about how the articles are alike, and the red sentence talks about how the articles are different. The main topic of both passages was about the solar system. The passages were the same because they both talked about Pluto not being a planet, and they both talked about the asteroid belt being between Mars and Jupiter. These passages were different because the first passage tells that an asteroid is a rock, and the second passage talks about Uranus is a planet that spins on its side. Did you pick out the same details that I used? If not, that's okay, as long as you use the information from the Venn diagram to compare and contrast the passages. Now let's review what we've learned today. We've learned that fictional texts are texts made up by an author that are not true, and nonfiction texts teach information and explain real things. We learned that compare means to tell how things are the same, and contrast means to tell how things are different. Now it's time for you to continue to read on your own. Read your own Just Right books, followed by a book response. Then practice online with HeadSprout. Have fun reading.